Hola, somos Nancy.
Y Raquel, y estás escuchando Butterbeer Talks, un podcast de todo lo relacionado con Harry Potter, la historia y su legado que ha trascendido generaciones.
Acompáñanos a ser parte de esta historia meditando las ideas aquí expuestas, así como conocer las percepciones de nuestros invitados.
Bueno, y bienvenidos de nuevo a un episodio nuevo a este podcast maravilloso de Harry Potter llamado Butterbeer Talks, donde ya saben que yo, Raquel Zúñiga, porque recuerden que decimos nuestros apellidos, y mi
Nancy Cruz.
co-host,
Nancy Cruz, adelante.
les platicamos un poquito sobre el mundo de Harry Potter, cosas adicionales de este mundo mágico, teorías, y pues ya saben, también ya saben, a Nancy se le tiene que trabar la lengua un par de veces, y yo creo que en este episodio no será una excepción.
Hoy vamos a intentar que no, para no pasar aquí vergüenzas. Conmigo, claro, conmigo. Soy la única que puede hacer aquí el ridículo.
No queremos causar vergüenzas, pero pues tenemos un episodio muy especial que si ya vieron la portada o nos han estado haciendo nuestras historias en Instagram, no se les olvide, pues vamos a entrevistar a dos personas muy especiales para nosotros que han hecho un trabajo increíble en el mundo de Harry Potter, específicamente Kat y Felicia de Mugglenet, una de las páginas yo creo que más prolíficas, más famosas, con más antigüedad, si mal no me equivoco.
Sí,
Y pues queremos saber más de ellas, ya saben. Y pues, ya saben, va a ser un episodio en inglés, como han escuchado episodios pasados, no se les olvide, van a tener su traducción, todo por el estilo. Pero ahorita ya vamos a hacer el brinco en inglés para poder platicar con estas dos chicas maravillosas.
Okay, so welcome, Kat, Felicia. Welcome to our dearest podcast. How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. You know, I caught about 30% of what you said from my high school Spanish days. So
Great. That's great.
That's
yeah,
great.
I mean, we do know that we talk very fast, so there's sometimes that issue, but that's great.
I mean, I heard the word work. I mean, I heard some things. I got you. I got the gist of what you were saying.
Excellent.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Mugglenet is, in fact, the oldest Harry Potter fan site on the web, and now a Wizarding World as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a topic that we're going to touch up on right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now there's light. Perfect.
Now we can see.
Yes, so now we can know and ask more about Mugglenet. Of course we will. So, first of all, we will start with some questions for like ice-breaking questions. It's easy, nothing too difficult. But first of all, we would like to know from which house are you from?
I am. I'll introduce myself first, so listeners can know whose voice is whose. I'm Felicia.
Please do.
I'm Mugglenet's managing editor, and I am a Hufflepuff.
Yep. And I'm Kat, and I am MuggleNet's creative and marketing director. And I am a Ravenclaw Slytherin, mostly Ravenclaw, sometimes Slytherin.
Okay.
Yeah, Felicia and I together make a really good pair because we have opposite, qualities and traits. So we work well together.
That's very nice.
Absolutely.
Here we're talking, I'm Ravenclaw and Rachel is Slytherin. So
nice.
We are just missing a Gryffindor here. Okay, now, second question, Rachel.
Okay, so if you were to be able to be in the Wizarding World in any generation, any time, whatever, who would you consider to be your best friend? Who would you always be hanging out? It doesn't have to be someone of your house. I mean, here we support inter-house relationships and everything. So just go ahead.
I think I would probably be friends with Neville because he is a little bit shy, and I'm always sort of reaching out to those shy people and trying to get them to open up and be more comfortable with themselves. And then I feel like he would just be a really good friend. He's so loyal and he always stands up for what's right, and he seems like a good person.
He does. So for me in high school, which was over 20 years ago now, I was the artistic, like band geek kind of gal. So I would probably be friends with somebody like Luna or even Dean, because we would probably take all the art classes together. But I always had just a small group of really good friends. And I think the two of them, Luna and Dean, out of the characters we know from Harry's story, would probably be the ones that I would gravitate towards. Because people like Ginny, I would never be friends with her. Not because I don't like her, not because she's not cool, but she's so popular. I would never friends with those type of people. So, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So
what about you two? What are your answers?
my answers always changes.
What does it
No,
say?
no.
It depends like on our
It
current
depends
mood
on-
and all.
Yes, it depends on the mood. I would say that probably I don't know. I mean, right now, because I've said before Luna or Hermione or Sirius, but I think that now at this moment in my life, it could be Ginny Weasley because she's so cool.
She's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Ginny, at least the Ginny from the books.
Mhm.
Right.
Book Ginny, obviously. I think my most frequent, like the one I mentioned the most, would be the Weasley twins, Fred and George. I'm very outgoing and very like always giving out silly remarks and everything. So I think we would be like a great fit as friends, even though I'd be in Slytherin and they'd be in Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're funny. I mean, I'm more like the kind of person that likes to hang out with different kinds of person and with different kind of activities or hobbies. I mean, I have friends from another areas and with the most random likes and dislikes because I just like to talk to people. So yeah, I think that will be like, that's why I changed so much between one and another person. I could talk with anyone, even with rocks, probably. Yeah. So yeah. Probably Luna could be a good friend.
Yes.
Now, talking more about getting into Mugglenet and talking about your... No. I'm sorry. Before going there, we want to know, our listeners want to know, what about when was the time when you got in touch or when you got to know Harry Potter, all the fandom and this, like the first moment?
When we became Harry Potter fans, or
Yes.
into
Yeah, like
Okay.
how were you introduced to it? Like, was it through the books? Did you see like the third movie, like it happened with Nancy or something? How did you get to know this?
For me, I was in early elementary school, and I'm not sure how prevalent these are elsewhere, but my elementary school had book fairs, which is where a publishing company would come, and it was basically like they set up a bookstore in the cafeteria or something. And ours were always sponsored by Scholastic, of course, the American publisher of Harry Potter.
Yes.
And so I got the first two books, I think, from the book fair, and I liked it. And, then I got the third one, and then that's when I had caught up. And after that point was when I was waiting for midnight releases. I wasn't allowed to go to a midnight release until the sixth book. My mom said, "Oh, it's too young. It's midnight. You can't be out that late." And I don't want to be out there that late with you because it's midnight. But then the book fairs, they had all these posters and erasers and like little things you could collect. So I'm not sure exactly what was it. I don't remember really, but for some reason I just really liked it and started collecting everything to do with it.
And so I was in my early 20s when the first movie came out, and I was working at a like store at the time, an entertainment store. So we sold DVDs and CDs and all those things. And I remember the first movie coming out and selling it to tons of people. And I was like, ugh, this is like a kid's movie. Ugh, this is not for me. Ugh. You know, early 20s, thinking that I know better, all those things, which I really didn't, because like I had mentioned, I grew up kind of a nerd. Like I was a huge reader and would read 2 or 3 books a week and all that. So it wasn't until a couple summers later when I met my friend Hope, and she was a huge Harry Potter fan, and it was a really, really, really hot summer day, and I didn't have any air conditioning. My house was really hot. She said, "Why don't you come over? I have the air conditioner in and we'll just watch a couple movies." So I went over and she was like, "Let's watch Harry Potter." And I was like, "Ugh, do I have to?" But of course I did, because she really wanted to watch it and she had me watch it, and I loved it. I don't remember, you know, why I disliked it other than thinking that it was for kids. But we watched the first one. I loved it. And she was like, "Well, do you want to watch the second one?" I was like, "Yeah, I absolutely want to watch the second one." So watch the second one. And then this wasn't long before the third film came out. And so I remember going as a group to go watch the third film. And we had like a group of 8 people, sent in my most timid friend to save 8 seats for people, ended up in the 3rd row. So, you know, when you sit that close to the movie screen, you're just staring up at it the whole time. Okay. And I had really bad vertigo. I have motion sickness is something that I experience all the time. And so I could only watch like sort of half of the film. And I remember being ridiculously confused. And so Hope was like, "You just need to read the books." And so that's what I did. I got into the books and I devoured them. I think at the time when the 3rd film came out, I think Goblet was out. So I bought the first 4 books, and then I had to wait with everybody else for Order of the Phoenix. And I just sort of fell into it from there. And this fandom has been my home ever since. So.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Those 2 are amazing stories. I mean, Scholastic book fairs are iconic, and then just like the fact that you didn't want to see them, but then you fell in love with them by seeing them.
Yeah. Well, I remember, you know, when the film came out, when I worked at that store, they had this huge display, and at the top of the display was the trio in the moment when they like scream because they see Fluffy for the first time. And I remember taking it home and selling it on eBay because I knew I could make money from it. I sold this piece of cardboard for like $300.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
It was a lot of money for a piece of cardboard. And a couple years
Yes.
later, I sort of went, darn it, I wish I hadn't sold that now. But anyway,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it was fun.
Wow. I do have some things from the movies, the premieres also, and I'm just waiting for the moment to sell them. I mean, maybe that's mean, but I mean, I hope to do it with a good cause, like I don't know, in the future.
Someone really wants it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but also like my plan is like, if I want to create a project or something, those things are there waiting for me in case I need the money for this cause. And I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like I don't need them. I have them because it has like an emotional value and sentimental value.
Mhm.
But in the end, I think that it could be a good money. Because those things are like for people that collects these kind of things. It's like they do it. They buy it. It's like, okay, well, I will do it. I will do it one day.
There's nothing wrong with that. Hold on to those things until you're ready to sell them.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Actually, I'm just waiting for them to be more valuable.
No,
Like,
that's totally
yeah.
fair. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. No
Yeah.
shame.
It's the same as selling coins and bills and all that you
Yeah.
wait a little bit for them to be a lot more valuable, and then you just sell it.
Like right now, I'm waiting for the Bitcoin to get to the amount it was.
For it to rise up again.
Yeah, I lost a lot of money. Anyway, that's not the thing right now.
The topic right now.
I'm recovering. I'm sorry. So now it's time to talk about MuggleNet and this wonderful website and all that it involves. We want to know, what are you doing there? What is
Yeah,
it?
like you have amazing, like your titles sound like super amazing. I mean, Nancy right now has like student as her title. I have like software developer as my title, but like your titles are amazing within MuggleNet. So we want to know more about that.
Okay. Kat, why don't you take this one first?
Okay, sure. So, I mean, the MuggleNet story is a very, very, very long one. Okay, we have been around over 21 years now. And basically, as I mentioned before, so my title is MuggleNet's creative and marketing director. Marketing and creative director, I never remember which order they go in. Anyway, so I head up all of the sort of public facing teams, if that makes sense. So the social media team, the editorial team, the graphics team, the marketing team. And so every editorial, that you read out there has been written by an amazing editorialist on one of my teams. All of the graphics that you see are made by one of our volunteer designers, all our social media posts, etc. And that is, I've been in this role since 2013. And before that, I was a volunteer. I've been with the site since 2006. So this October will be 15 years with the site for me. So it's been
Okay,
a long
congratulations.
time. It's been a long time. Yeah. So.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And my partner Felicia, she works with all the opposite teams. So now I'm going to toss it to her so she can tell you her job.
So in terms of content that does reach the public, I manage our news team. So any of the updates about books or movies or the play or the theme parks, those are all written by our journalists. And then the content team, so all of the pages on our site, if you go up to the main navigation menu and you click and it takes you to are more kind of encyclopedic entries of those same topics, the theme parks, the play, Wizarding World Digital. We cover everything on the site. And then behind the scenes, there are things like the copy editing team, and they work also with some of the teams that Kat manages, the creative team, those editorials, as well as social media, and then just everywhere across the site, as well as our transcription team. So they mostly do interviews right now, but in the past they have transcribed podcasts, which is actually where I got my start. I started with MuggleNet in 2012 as a transcriber for the Alohomora podcast. And I have been in this position about 2.5 years now.
And this is like your full-time work? I'm sorry, I mean, it's a dream come true, or it's like a side.
We would like it to be our full-time work. We put as much effort into it as if it were full-time work.
Yeah, we both have other jobs that we do. So Felicia's a translator and I do graphic design. So we both do, MuggleNet is our love. And as Felicia said, we'd both really love it to be our full-time jobs. And we put in enough hours to be our full-time jobs, but we do have supplemental things that we do as well. So yeah, we are very lucky though. I mean, I think we are both very happy with the work that we do and the team that we have, and really wish that we could just do it more. So
yeah, no, absolutely, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is kind of like this side project, it's a passion that I imagine that for you it doesn't mean anything to spend a lot of time working on it, because it's like a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to it. I wake up and then I have to do my Muggle job, and I'm always really excited, like, oh great, I'm done with work. I can go on MuggleNet and answer people's questions and review things, and it's just so fulfilling.
It is. They say when you enjoy your job, you never work a day at all. And I feel that all the time. So
yeah, I've said that before. I know it's so cliche, but it's like, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Because it's some kinds like the revenue, it's not like in money or like in fame, or
it's more of like the good feeling that you're helping people, that you're sharing stuff to the world.
Yes.
That you're sharing your passion with someone else. And I mean, that's great.
Yeah, we have an incredible team, and we are very much like a family. You know, collectively, if you added us all up, there's probably 300 to 400 years worth of working on the website, just experience, and working with those people every day is a true delight. So.
And I mean, you do have a very big team. I mean, when I was checking like to find you guys in the site, I mean, you've got each other's profiles and like what are your activities, your house, and all of that. And I mean, it's a very diverse team. I mean, a lot of people are involved in the project like day to day, just like you, right?
Yes, we have, I think, just over 130 volunteers at the moment. So back in the day, the team was mostly male. Now the team is mostly female. We are, I think Felicia, maybe you remember the stats better than I do. We do like an internal demographic from time to time. Do you remember the numbers, Felicia?
We just looked at them recently. We're currently 93% female.
Ooh.
Wow. Aplauso para MuggleNet. I love you guys.
Yes, we've been 100% female-led since 2017. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
great.
Amazing.
That is good. That's great.
Yes.
And I imagine like all these like it's like what, you know, like, I don't know how to say it in English. That's the worst thing. Like
you can say it, Felicia will understand you.
Suéltalo, ajá.
O sea, lo suelto. Que la sororidad que se debe de sentir en este ambiente, like everyone complimenting the work of the other one, and like, you know, like, oh yeah, you did it great, like we are going great, of the motivation among women, you know. No, it's not like that. I don't know what's the word in English.
It's like sorority, like the whole closeness of everyone as a team. Specifically, like you're saying that it's a very big percentage of women, so we tend to like group a lot. So I think that's what Nancy's trying to say.
Yes,
like solidarity.
Yes.
Solidarity. It's sort of just something that came about naturally. It wasn't anything we tried to implement, like a switch over from men to women and staff or anything. I think when I first joined this site, there were about 30 people, and by that time, it was even already more women than men.
Yeah, we are definitely a more accurate reflection of the fandom as a whole. At this time, you know, sometimes you'll see references to the Harry Potter fandom in media. So for instance, I don't know if either of you watched the show This Is Us. Have you ever heard of this show?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple episodes ago, they had a reference to the Harry Potter Alliance, and they equated them to a bunch of dudes in like nerdy cosplay. And which just couldn't be more inaccurate. I mean, the fandom is a majority of women, and so now MuggleNet is just a reflection of the fandom. So, and MuggleNet is also very queer. We're like 40% LGBTQIA+, so which we love. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's something I would like to talk about it in the next minutes, but I was thinking, like, all these Potterhead movements that the fandom has been, you know, because the story was already built and we already have like the rules set, but the fandom, it's, you know, the evolution, it's transforming every time, every day. And that's the great about the fandom, that it's changing and that it's fighting, because unlike other people that it's fan of something or another fandoms, I think that also it has to be with the generations right now that are more talkative, that are more like they fight and
Open.
talk more. Yeah. And I think that that's great about this, that you can see the change from 10 years ago to now. I mean, there's a lot of difference. There are a lot of movements, and and other people probably doesn't understand yet because they don't know, but we are moving. I mean, the Wizard Rock is moving, the websites of Harry Potter are moving. In this case, the HP Alliance has a lot of impact in a lot of communities, and they are doing a great social work. But you know, I think that now maybe it's because of the social media, maybe it's the technology, COVID, I don't know, that people is getting more aware of things and they are actually fighting for things.
Yeah, we are definitely an organized community, much more than we were, a decade ago. So we are not afraid to stand up for what we believe in. That is true.
You know, that's wonderful. And because one of the things that I think that it's important to mention about MuggleNet is that it's not only like a fan site, it's not only a website where you can go check the news, where you can go and see pictures, but it has like a whole universe of content. Like it's not only because now that I was checking the website, that this is another question. There is still a link with the fan fiction area. Oh, okay. That was just that question. Because they have like a section for fan fiction. They have a section for news, but there also a section for social activities, recognitions, special events, contest. Like it's not only entertainment, because it is not about entertainment. It's about a cultural movement and social movement. And what can you say or talk to us about these social and cultural movements?
Like the impact that you feel your platform, because I mean, it's like Nancy said, it's a complete platform. It's not just a website.
Community.
Like, what do you think has been the impact it has made?
Well, I think that is a different answer for most people. So I will say, I will speak purely for myself. And I think that where MuggleNet is the most impactful it's just in the actual community itself, giving people the space to be exactly who they are, exactly the way they want to be, interacting exactly how they want to interact. You know, whether you love Snape or you loathe him, whether the cursed child is canon to you or it is not canon to you, you know, whether you ship Wolfstar or Harmony or Drapple, everybody is welcome at MuggleNet. The only thing we don't tolerate is hate. And so if you come to MuggleNet with pure intentions, pure of heart, and you are there to geek out and nerd out and talk about Harry Potter, you're welcome. Just leave the drama at home. We don't want that. We're here just to have fun. So I think our community is our biggest strength. And the fact that we offer content for literally everybody. I mean, there's something out there for everybody. As I mentioned, if you love Snape, we have a whole column for people who love Snape. If you dislike him and you think that he's just an awful person, guess what? We have articles for that too, and content for that too. We have a whole family of podcasts. So whether you are an academic and you really want to dive deep into all of those literary themes, we have shows for that. If you're just really around because you want to hear the latest news, guess what? We have a show for that too. Fantastic Beasts, we have that too. So the variety of content that we offer the community and just creating that space for people, I think is the most special thing about us.
I was thinking more internally as well, because I tend to work more with our MuggleNet volunteers than with the MuggleNet audience, and just giving people the opportunity to find other people who like the wizarding world as much as they do, and the opportunity to develop skills. A lot of our volunteers have been able to put this work on their resumes and find jobs in the field they want to work in, because MuggleNet, if you talk to the right person, the work is very impressive to a hiring manager. And then in terms of the content we feature, I love when we get fan submissions and we're able to showcase someone else's work and it reaches thousands of people who read it and see it, and we're able to get the word out there on fun projects or charitable initiatives.
I mean, sometimes even millions of people. You know, we still reach double digits, millions of people every month. And, you know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, when you submit something to MuggleNet, if, you know, you're being authentic and you're putting something out there that people can relate to, then they're going to relate to it big time. And we've had videos that have reached hundreds of millions of people. So yeah, that is definitely something unique and special, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, like just the fact that you love it and you share with the world, and it will get to the people. Like it will get everywhere. That's amazing. I do have a question though. You mentioned a lot about Snape, so I need to ask this because we did actually an episode on Snape, on whether we love him or hate him. What side are you both on the Snape issue?
I'm not in a particular camp, and as someone who feels really strongly, I've never gotten into an argument about it, but I don't think Snape is a good person. I think he's a tragic character, and he had a sad life, and he didn't grow up under the best circumstances, but he was also a bully to his students, and that is inexcusable.
Yeah, and me on the other hand, I've gotten into plenty of arguments about Severus Snape. You know, I've been podcasting with Alohomora for over 9 years now, and we have definitely talked about Snape many, 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 many times. I feel the same way as Felicia, but I will also say this one line. It is our choices, okay? And Snape made some really terrible choices. He made some good choices too. We'll give him some credit there. But overall, yeah, he's tragic. Don't think he's a good person. Amazing character. Amazing character. You can't have a character like Severus Snape, one that is so polarizing and not appreciate the depth of who he is, even if you don't like him. So
yeah, actually we talk when we were talking about that, we were like, yeah, probably he made bad choices, but at the end, as a character, as you said, has a good development. I mean, it's a good development as a character, and it kind of passed through all the phases.
Yeah, he's a great character, unjustifiable actions, basically.
Yeah, he's definitely fun.
On him always.
He's definitely fun to debate and discuss. That is for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So
okay, and about like MuggleNet, you mentioned something right now in the beginning of the interview, in the beginning of this episode, about Wizarding World. So if I want to know more about that, like, What's the relationship? What's the stitch on that?
We have a professional relationship with Warner Brothers and Universal. They send us press releases. We've often, for the past 15 years, a little more than that maybe, been invited to things like film premieres or behind the scenes, even on the sets of things. So.
Yeah, there's a good working relationship there. It's a very weird sort of dichotomy when you are running a site using somebody else's like intellectual property. So you get to know those people really well, and you form a lot of relationships with a lot of incredible people who do a lot of good work. And there I've obviously always been times where it's been a little bumpy, but we always figure it out, and we're still standing. We've been here 21 years, and we definitely intend to be around for another 20 more. So
Yes, please.
Of course. Obviously, yes. It's a running gag that every time we're gonna interview someone, well, I mean, the emails that were sent to you, they were sent by me, and I always like do like my research. I check like everything, like who would we like to interview on like a specific page and everything, and it's gotten to a point where I literally spent the whole day just like surfing the site for all of Mugglenet.
So that's what all
the
those
rest
hits
of the page,
were.
like.
Those were all
you got like a lot of traffic that day. Yes, it was me.
Cool.
A professional stalker.
Yes, I am.
What did you dig up?
No, I mean, I started seeing like a couple of I like first I googled.
She's getting nervous.
I like search. Yes, I got nervous. I searched like what info, like first you had on the characters, and then like some news, and then I saw that you had like all the news about the store that just opened up in New York City, which I literally want to go so bad. And like I just started reading news, like some stuff I already knew, but like I was just browsing. I got across some articles about fan arts, and I just browsed.
Cool.
Wasted a whole work day surfing Mugglenet. Yeah, it was a very productive day.
Anytime you get to spend time in the fandom, it's never a waste. So that's good.
It's never a waste.
Of course. Of course.
And now in more like a personal, like an introspection to you to share to us, for us. I'm sorry for my English. Today I'm not working. My brain is not working.
It's perfectly understandable.
Yes, you're great. No problem.
Thank you. This is a real compliment because I've been dealing with my English this day, specifically this day, today. So now talking more like about yourself, and we would like you to share that with us. So what do you feel, or what are your feelings, or of the things, or more? No, what I want to try to say is, what is the thing that you enjoy most being part of this project? Like the things that you like the most, or what it makes you feel, how does it feel being part of this big and great project?
For me, it's on a smaller scale. I like being more behind the scenes than up front and center. And I really just love working with all our volunteers. I found that I really enjoy managing and solving problems and helping people find something or who to contact. And if someone comes to me with an idea, I just try to implement it and get it done, and just sort of be there to help other people develop their skills and get to do the types of things they want to do. I love being able to offer people opportunities and new positions. That is what I like.
and this is why Felicia and I are the perfect team, because while I also really love working with our incredible team, I mean, we cannot give them enough credit. this site, Felicia and I may be the directors and we may be the people at the quote unquote top of the pyramid, but the site does not exist without them, period. End of discussion. So we love working with them. And while Felicia, as she mentioned, is much more behind the scenes, I love being the face. I like being out there. I like talking to our readers and our followers and our podcast listeners and all of that. I like going to press events, and I like, making those connections and just meeting and expanding and just like being out in the world, being that loud personality that I very obviously am. I love doing that, and bringing them all back to MuggleNet into our adorable little fandom bubble is my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. I love it.
That's great. But Felicia, you also love it, right?
She likes all the people that I bring back to her so they can have a quiet conversation in the corner.
Okay.
The filtered people go to Felicia and she's happy with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
had amazing press opportunities and I've definitely enjoyed it. They were so exciting, but I was also nervous going into them and, just tried to do what I needed to do and had to focus and make sure, am I doing this right? Am I gonna mess something up? They turned out fine. So I think the more of them I do, the more comfortable I'll be doing them.
For sure. Yeah. But I mean, as I mentioned, it's just another reason that she and I work really well together, because we have different core interests in the things that we enjoy doing. We like supporting each other and doing the other parts of each other's jobs, as needed, but we both really have our skills and our strengths and the things that we excel at. And they just happen to be sort of opposites of each other from time to time. So.
No, you clearly balance each other amazingly. I mean, it's pretty
Good
cool.
combination.
I mean, admittedly, Felicia is the third person that I've run the site with, and she's my favorite. And I'm not just saying that because she's the current one. I'm saying it because it's the truth. I feel like the site has never run smoother. Our volunteers have never been happier. We've never been doing, our work has never been better. The content we're putting out has never been as good as it is now. And that all comes down to having somebody running the site, your partner in that being somebody who's really supportive. And I think, we make a great team. So
I keep everything really organized and make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. Things don't get forgotten about. Kat always is usually the one with all the ideas of, can we do this? Let's do that. Will this work? And it's like, okay, great. This is what we would need to do to make it work, or I'm not sure. We're going to have to look into this first. So,
yeah, I am definitely the one that makes a lot of work for everybody else.
Oh my.
It's
That's
true.
great though. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I have to say that Rachel is my favorite co-host. Is not. Is there is no.
It's not because I'm the only one ever.
She's great. She does a.
Oh
good
yeah.
job.
I'm the one that's always behind her, chasing her to do stuff, and then she's like, "I have all of these ideas," and I'm like, "We have to do them in a specific order, otherwise they won't work."
Oh,
So,
all right.
Yes.
So Rachel's the Felicia, Nancy's the Cat.
Yeah.
I get it.
Possibly.
Basically.
Perfect. Well, you
Something
definitely
like
seem to
that,
work
something
well
like that.
together. So.
Yeah.
We are in the second season, so I think that we are getting.
We made it. Like
Yes.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
It has been working. So let's wait for more episodes in the following years.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting thoughts, the ones you shared. It's very insightful. And in all your, ask the next one, Rachel. Or yeah, ask the next one.
Is it the one about like? Ya no sé en cuál vamos.
Okay.
Perdón.
I will ask it. So
Yeah, please.
this is the last question, and we want to ask you. I don't know if Rachel has more questions, but we want to ask you, like, if you have like a favorite highlight in all your time working in MuggleNet, being in the fandom, if you have this highlight.
You want me to go?
Sure. Well, I
Okay.
think
So I have a lot of highlights. A lot of personal moments that are just going to live in my heart. And when I look back on them, will definitely produce the biggest Patronus ever. So instead, I'm going to tell you the funniest moment that I have had in my time with the site
Okay.
and in the fandom. So it involves Rachel's best friend's friend, George Weasley. So I was down at the Wizarding World for the celebration of Harry Potter. I think it was back in 2014. So it was just before Diagon Alley opened. And MuggleNet had an interview with the Phelps twins, who I had met a few times before. And so, you know, I don't tend to get nervous around those type of people. So I was looking forward to the interview because they're incredibly nice, very cool, sweet, kind gentlemen. And we were set up on the terrace. We were in Hogsmeade, actually. So we were set up on the terrace outside the back of the Three Broomsticks. And we were setting up for a video interview. And I'm not going to say who because not that they'll ever hear this, but I don't want to embarrass the particular twin. Anyway, one of them had a piece of hair out of place. Okay. And I, aside from a graphic designer, have been a photographer for most of my life. And so while my interview partner was setting up the camera and stuff, I sort of went, oops, you have a hair out of place. And so I like reached up to like fix it. Okay. And the hair wouldn't stay down. So I kept like trying to get it to stay down like multiple times, and I could see him starting to get a little like, why are you fondling my hair this much? And then eventually he just took a step back and was like, you know what, it's fine if it sticks up, it's no problem. And I definitely turned beet red. It was fine. It was just a little like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I'm a photographer, like your hair is sticking up. But every time I walk by that spot on the terrace behind the Three Broomsticks, I have a little chuckle to myself because I remember the time that I sort of fondled one of the Phelps twins' hair to try to get it to stay down.
Oh,
so that is one of the most hilarious moments that has happened to me. Sorry.
It's an amazing story.
I'm sorry, but I felt the second embarrassment.
But the worst part is like I see myself doing that. Like it's because it's sticking out. Like you gotta fix it. Yes, I imagine myself doing that.
Yes, I mean it is a very human thing to do, to want to be like, oh, you have a hair sticking up. It's just, you know, he had a lot of product in his hair and it just wouldn't stay down, and so it was futile to try. But yeah, so please nobody harass the Phelps twins with that story because so sorry, Felicia. Hopefully I haven't completely exonerated your story. That's not the right word. Obliterated. There you go.
Okay.
With my anecdote.
I'd say my highlight was MuggleNet Live 2019. So MuggleNet has done 3 major live events, and they have been every other year except COVID came along in 2020 and we didn't even think about like an event in 2021 with everything going on. But since I took over my current position at the beginning of 2019, it was January, and then we had MuggleNet Live 2019. It was in Orlando. No, it was in New York. 2017 was in Orlando. It was in New York at New York Comic Con in October. And so I think it was early in that year, and Kat was like, hey, are we doing an event this year? Someone from New York Comic Con reached out and asked about it, if we wanted to like have a panel. So I was like, okay, I guess why not? And so there I was, new to this position and having to work together with Kat and then with a team of volunteers from the site who had sort of volunteered to help plan and organize said major event. And okay, 9 months away, let's do this. And it was a lot of planning, a lot of work, and just the weeks leading up to it, I was so nervous. I would feel sick sometimes, especially because Kat was like, oh, I don't know if I can actually make it. And so I was like, I'm going to be managing this on the ground in New York on my own. Oh my gosh.
But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Right.
Literally, yes.
We had sort of 3 separate events throughout the weekend. We had our panel at New York Comic Con Friday night, and then we did a run in the morning with Potterhead Running Club. And then we had a party at Hard Rock Cafe in Times Square on Saturday night. But Friday night was the panel, and I went there ahead of time with a group of people, and Kat came a little bit later and sat in the audience, and I did end up managing most of that on my own with the help of some of the lovely volunteers who were there putting on the panel. So we had, I think, about 25 to 30 people who had come out for it. But when we first got to the room where we had the panel, it wasn't set up the way we needed it to be for our show. And so that it was a big moment where it was like, okay, it's all on me. And I did it, and the show was great. And the room was completely full. We got a lot of great feedback from it, and it mostly went off without a hitch. Thanks in large part, of course, to all the planning that everyone put into that. But just, I knew like if it didn't go well, it would be on me. So
yeah, she knocked it out of the park. She knocked it out of the park. She did great. I was dealing with some health issues at the time, so I any other person I had been working with probably could not have handled it with as much aplomb as Felicia did. So she knocked it out of the park. We all knocked it out, and we celebrated our 20th anniversary with a giant bang. It was incredible. That was a very good highlight, Felicia. Good choice.
Yeah, it was that feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, wow. Wow.
Mis respetos. O sea,
mis respetos. Wow. In Spanish has to be said. Mis respetos. And it's like all respetos.
Yeah.
No. It's great. I mean, because you have a lot of impact in all the community. I dare to say. More English community because they are more aware of the content, of course, or English speakers. But you know, for people from other places that also know about these events and the community and the website and all the programs you have, I mean, it's a big deal. And now Felicia probably is getting ready for the 50th anniversary.
Next year will be my 10th anniversary.
Oh.
And,
okay.
Probably like, can you say that in 10 years you will be also like in Japan and then in France and then in other places? No?
I mean, our audience is pretty international, as it is. I think our 3rd biggest audience is the lovely folks in India. So yeah, we are very international.
Our staff too. Our staff is actually from 23 different countries.
Okay.
Wow, that's a lot of places. Wow.
Yes.
23 countries.
We actually just in May 2021, we celebrated International Month. So for the Battle of Hogwarts, we did an international celebration with readings from around the world. So I think it was 16 different countries and different languages did readings to commemorate the event. So that was a lot of fun.
Wow, you create great great things, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes. It's, I mean, obviously it's like the most important website and reference in the fandom.
Ever, yeah.
Like the main reference in the fandom.
You're making my Slytherin ego feel really good today, so thank you. You're very sweet.
Okay, I will check that in my list.
Yes, please.
I did it today. So this has been wonderful. I mean, absolutely, we have a lot of questions and we have a ton of questions we would like to ask, but since this is not that long episode or podcast, the content of our podcast is not that long. I honestly, I would like to know more, and of course, Rachel probably also wants to know more about all this. There is something. This is our now. It is. I was about to talk in Spanish. Iba a decir, ahora sí. No, now. This is the last question, and this is not a question, but it's like we want to ask you a message for the international audience. In this case, Spanish speakers, Latinos, and Hispanohablantes. A message that you would like to share, an invitation, anything you would like to the community that listens to us, that would you like them to know?
Felicia, why don't you take this one? Do it in Spanish. No pressure.
Not at all. Tenemos oportunidades. Si quieres ser voluntario en Mugglenet, puede ser en nuestro equipo de medios sociales. Puede publicar arte de los fans o otras imágenes. Y tenemos unos voluntarios que no habla español o no habla inglés como idioma nativo. Y sería genial si quiere unir con nosotros en nuestro sitio.
See, I didn't
That was
catch any of that.
amazing.
I didn't know any of those words.
She just invited the people, but yeah, she did great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Good.
Okay. Well, I think that with that, even though we would like how Kat mentioned, we would like to speak for 3, 4, 5 hours and just like soak all the information from Mugglenet. We have reached the end of our episode, and we are so happy for our two lovely people here, Kat and Felicia. Thank you so much for being in this episode. And Nancy, something else to say before we jump into Spanish?
Yeah, I will just add that we will add the volunteer program and invitation in the chapter, so people, when they see the description, they can know more about this in case they want to join. I'm pretty sure there will be some people that will be very happy to know about this and to get involved.
Great. We'd love to have them. And listen, I mean, we have a whole team of volunteers. So if you want to talk to somebody on our editorial team, you let us know and we'll get someone out here so you can interview them too.
Excellent.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
That would be great. We will
Yes,
take you up on that offer.
Great. Our team is incredible. And like I mentioned before, the site doesn't work without them. So we would love to have you have as many volunteers on the show as you'd like.
Excellent. So,
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you
para
for
los que nos
having
están
us.
escuchando, sí. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that I interrupted you while I was
It's okay.
talking. I'm so sorry. So thank you guys for being here. We are so happy. And now I will switch to Spanish, if you don't mind.
Please do.
Thank you. Bueno, amigos. Rachel, ¿querías decir algo?
Hemos llegado al final de este episodio, ¿no? Nada, estamos súper
Estamos muy
felices. Yo sigo
tristes.
emocionada.
Muy tristes porque
Estamos
se
tristes que nos
acabó.
vamos a despedir, sí.
Pero felices
no.
porque ha sido un episodio increíble, conociendo personas increíbles. Y pues bueno, como dijimos hace unos segundos, vamos a ponerles el link de la traducción. También vamos a ponerles el link sobre los sitios, las páginas más importantes de Mugglenet, para que puedan saber y ver más información. Y bueno, amigos, hasta aquí ha sido todo. No se olviden de seguirnos en las redes sociales que son
TV Talks Podcast en Facebook, Twitter e Instagram.
Y bueno, en fin, hemos llegado al final de este episodio y nuevamente esta ha sido una travesura realizada. Hasta la próxima, Nox.